You're watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen. Today, we're going to be talking about retro gaming. It's kind of interesting because I just got a hold of a Nintendo Switch I'd saved up, and I now have one in my collection. Of course, that's not very retro, but I have gotten retro in my collecting for the PS2. Wanting to see where everything began in the years in the world of Nier Automata. So going back to Drakengard, because they're both from the same world. Just going back through the Suikoden series, trying to beat all of those in the old school. It's just so much that's right there. And though I am not a retro game collector, I have a collection, but it's not very much of one. There are those who collect retro games much like I collect movies. I respect these people. These are fun people. They have great channels. You'll be seeing a shout out to one of them, I'm sure, in the future, though not this time because I'm going in alphabetical order. But today we're going to be reviewing The Bits of Yesterday. The Bits of Yesterday is a documentary about retro game collectors. It hits lots of fun topics. It covers different collectors like Radical Reggie, the Immortal John Hancock, many of these. Even has the Angry Video Game Nerd, John Rolfe, on there. This follows a variety of topics. And of course I was led onto it by a few sources. I believe the Rebel Gaming Club talked about it a little bit when they were talking about the sound, because they're on the soundtrack. Of course, I can't remember that. The one I remember the most was when I was watching Metal Jesus, and he was talking about this, and so was Reggie, because he was actually on this particular documentary. So I got onto the Kickstarter. I contributed to the Kickstarter, and now I have a copy. I always, if I do back a Kickstarter that does one of these releases, I try to get a physical release as a part of my Kickstarter rewards, and this seemed like one that a DVD would be adequate for. So, what are the great things about this? I think it is an excellent depiction of retro game collecting. It covers all of the various aspects of it. From how people get started into it, from the various problems that come up, from issues that come due to resellers versus scalpers, in the general fad that the market has taken. And there has been a big resurgence in this, and it's a very interesting subject. So, also, they got some really cool names, and some big names. YouTube is a haven for retro game collectors. I've mentioned a couple in my reports here, and it was kind of cool to see it. Now, negative-wise, I admit there are some people that I wouldn't mind have seen, to have actually seen. I'd like to have seen the Rebel Gaming Club. I know that their music was in the background, but I figured you were working with them anyway, and they have a massive and cool video game collection. I would have loved to have seen them also on there, hear their takes on things, and I'm sure they would have presented it in a very funny way, much like some of the others that they had interviewed and talked with. The other thing, I don't know, it does drag out a little bit as time goes on. It's just sort of like that Fantastic Four. I think that the documentary about the Corman Fantastic Four, excellent subject, excellent information, but after a while, the format dragged a little bit. But unlike that other one, I was not really bored by this. I felt like these little twinges on the outside of, I'm kind of ready for this to finish. But otherwise, I was pretty well interested. It did not lose my interest. And I was eager to jump into the special features. When it comes to something like this, if I'm bored half the way through, I'm sitting there going, I don't know if I want to do the special features. I don't know about the commentary. But listening to the commentary, finding out, how he did this, he met a lot of these people by just chance at conventions. He was able to talk with these people, get in good, find out a little bit more about the gaming lifestyle, about the gaming, just gaming in general. And this, to me, made it worthwhile. Other special features, since we'll talk about the rest of the disc, this actually comes pretty well loaded with special features. You actually have some extra segments that didn't make it in, many of which are highly entertaining. You have a comedic video about how to clean your cartridge, and it just comes across as classic YouTube collectors. Much like me, but more talented. So, where does this stand overall? To me, it's a subject that needs to be covered. It's covered in a good way, and though it might be a little bit draggy at times, in the end...
I don't have facts to back this up.
Someone's texting me.
I don't have facts to back.
And, but in the end, I believe that this rates an 8 out of 10. Get yourself a copy. I feel like that is the general way to do it. And for that, this has been Septum Sen versus the World, and I will see you. Greetings! So, we're back again, and we're going to be discussing American Eye. Now, I like my top 10 and top 20 and all these informative channels, and American Eye is one of those channels. I have been watching them for probably about a year or so now. They have almost 1 million subscribers, so they're doing pretty well for themselves at this point. So, what do they do? Well, they give information. Such videos as foods North Korea does not allow. Mysterious places you won't believe exist. Clickbaity stuff. But a lot of it does have some information about weird things, different creatures, different cultural phenomenons. It's usually in numbered formats, like 90 shocking facts about the Roman legions, or 20 animals that you won't believe exist. It's the kind of things, a lot of these titles are the kind of things you would see on Facebook that would click and it would lead you to this virus-ridden page that is bogged down by ads. Now, this is not bogged down by ads, and though clickbaity, it is something that delivers. It shows you what it tells you it's going to show you. So, for that, it feels sort of a clickbaity need in my heart. And it is a fun channel. I really do believe and support American Eye, and I watch their videos probably about 80% of the time. So, with that being said, check out American Eye. I will leave a link below. Well, that has been my coverage for the week, or, well, for whatever it is for each review, and we will continue with the next one. Goodbye.